from Saurabh's classes, and in today's class we're going to continue with the discussion of the General Studies paper of the ISS 2022 and yeah, so this General Studies paper we had already started discussing in one of our previous videos, and we have already completed with number 1A. In today's class we're going to discuss about 1B. So as I told you in one of our previous classes that these questions were of 5 marks and we need to write within 200 words. All right. Each answer should be of 200 words. Like that's the word limit. Just adhere to the word limit. Do not cross it and do not write less. Try not to write less or just go beyond the words. Keep it to that word limit. So yeah, the question is, assess the cultural and the artistic achievements of the Vijayanagar Empire. So they are talking about the cultural and the artistic achievements of the Vijayanagar Empire. All right. So we need to talk about the cultural achievements as well as the artistic achievements of this Vijayanagar Empire. Let's get to the question. So 1B, we are starting our discussion with the Vijayanagar Empire was founded by Harihara and Bukka in AD 1336 and made Hastinavati, that is the Hampi, as their capital city. They ruled over Andhra, they ruled over Andhra, then Karnataka, then Tamil Nadu, and parts of Kerala in southern India. So here we are going to discuss about the architecture, the art, music, literature which developed under this kingdom. All right. So architecture under Vijayanagar Empire. Now the temple building activity of the Vijayanagar rulers produced a new style. What was that style called? It was called the Vijayanagar style. Okay. You need to talk about this style, that is the Vijayanagar style. Next to though often categorized as Dravida style, so it was also known as the Dravida style, it had its own distinct features. Next, the distinct features of the architecture were the pillars, then we have the complicated manner in which they were sculpted. So complicated manner of sculpting, you can talk about that, about a distinct feature of the architecture, and you can also talk about the pillars, okay? Next, the horse was the most common animal to be depicted on the pillars. So you talk about the horse as the most common animal which was depicted on the pillars. Okay, next. The temples had a mandapam or open pavilion with a raised platform, generally meant for seating the deity on special occasions. So just to keep the idol or the god or the goddess statue or on that particular like mandapam or the raised platform on special occasions. It also had a Kalyana mandapam with elaborately carved pillars. The most magnificent of the temples in this style are in Hampi, which is in Vijayanagar. Now, Vithala Swami and the Hazara Ramaswamy temples are the best examples. You can also talk about the Raya Gopurams, which were the towers in commemoration of the visit of the emperors in different corners of the empire. These are also important examples of architecture of this period. Now, in the Vijayanagar temples, the central part was occupied by Garbhagriha. That's the sanctum cell where the presiding deity was installed. All right. You also need to talk about the Amman shrine, which was meant for the consort of the god. Here we are going to talk about the culture and the cultural brilliance during this time. That is, we are going to consider some of the works in Telugu. Like I'm not reading all of them. You can just go through them. Like you can just learn through these points. There were scholars named as Srinatha, Pothana, then Jakkama, and Duggana, who translated the Sanskrit and Prakrit works into Telugu. You can also talk about Ganga Devi, who wrote Madhura Vijayam. Okay, so you have to talk about all these. These are very important stuff. Then you can talk about Devaraya the first, who constructed the Perum Hall to ours the scholars. Then you can talk about Devaraya the second, who wrote two Sanskrit works. Name the Sanskrit works. That's the Mahantaka Sudhanidhi and a commentary on the Brahma Sutras of Badrayana. You can also talk about Devraya II, who gave the title of Kanaka Bhisheka to Srinatha, who wrote the Sringara Neshada. You can also talk about Sivar Uttri Mahatyam and then Kashikantha. You can also talk about Bhimkanda, then Vilasam, then Ponji Taradhya Charitra. You can also talk about the Bumara Puthana, which was popularly known as the Niyogi, who translated the Bhagavad Purana into Telugu and also wrote the Virbhadra Vijayam. You can also talk about what did Krishna Devaraya do. Krishna Devaraya wrote the Amuktamaliyada, a book on polity in Telugu, and also a Sanskrit drama, that's the Jambavati Kalyanam. Then you can talk about Allasani Pedana, who wrote Manu Charitam and Harikatha Saram Samu. You can talk about Tenali Ramakrishna, who wrote Pandura Gamahatyam. Then you can also talk about the Dharajati, who wrote the Kalahasti Mahatyam. Then you can talk about Madaya, who wrote the Raja Shekhara Charitram. Then Pingali Suranna, who wrote the Raghavapan Daviyam and Prabhavari Padyumna. Then you can also talk about Ramabhadra, who wrote the Sakara Matara Sara Sangraham. You can also talk about Ramaraja Bhushan, who wrote the Narasabhu Paliyan, and Harishchandra Nalopa, who wrote Khayanam. Then you can also talk about Achyuta Raya, who was the patronized Rajanatha, and the poetess Malamba Devi, who wrote the Vardambika Parinayam. You can also talk about the Ramaraya, who patronized the Ramayana, an authority on music, having an authority on music. Tirumala commented on Jayadeva's Gita Govinda. Then yeah, you can talk about all these. Then Dikshita wrote a commentary on the Vedas and explained the Advaita philosophy, Vinama, um, Vimana, and also wrote the Vimana Satakas. He was it was a moralist literature in Telugu. You can also talk about the Eluganji Pedana, who translated the Leelavati, which is a maths book in Telugu. So you can talk about all of these, though it's getting a like bit lengthier. But from here you can just incorporate the points. Not all of them, but some of them you can definitely incorporate as per your choice. Next, those were the works in Telugu. Now here I'm going to give you certain works in Kannada. That's Narahari Kumara Valmiki, who composed a popular version of Ramayana called the Torf Ramayan. Next, you can talk about the Kumara Vyas, who composed the Mahabharata in Kannada. Then you can talk about the Vithalnath, who translated the Bhagavad Purana into Kannada language. Then you can talk about the Vaishnav saints, that is Purandhar Das, Kanak Das, and Sripath Raja, who contributed to Kannada literature through bhakti songs and kirtans. Then Bhima Kavi, who wrote Basava Purana. You can also talk about the Chamarasa, who wrote Prabhu Lingalai. You can also talk about the Virupaksha Pandit, who wrote the Chenna Basva Purana. Okay. Next, you can talk about the art during the Vijayanagar Empire. That includes like music, dance, painting, sculpting, everything. All right, let's talk about the music thing. That's Vijayanagar period is known for origin of Carnatic music under Purandhar Das period, known as the origin of the Rudra veins. Okay, so you need to know about this also, that Carnatic music was the first thing that was established during this period as a form of music. You can also talk about dance. Bharatnatyam was promoted during this time. In drama, Yakshagana was a popular dance drama closely associated with the temple walls. So you understand why this dance became famous, this drama dance. Then you have these paintings, the themes of Ramayana and Lahabharata on temple walls. We have a sculpture, largest number of portrait sculptures in this period were done at this time, like portrait sculpture of Krishna Devaraya and his queen Sasina Tirumala. All right. Yeah, so that was all about this answer. Um, we are going to continue once again with the rest of the questions again in our next series of videos and next series of classes. So yeah, that's it for today's class. If you have any kind of confusion, you can just comment down below in the comment box, or you can call us at the number which is provided in the description box just below this video. Or you can also join our classes at www.saurabhsclasses.com. Yeah, here we teach for all kinds of competitive examinations and all kinds of entrance-based tests. Preparation is done over here. So if you need the guidance of expert teachers, you can join the classes. So you can call us, or you can just log on to the official website, and there you will get all the details. That's it for today's class. We're going to meet once again in our next classes.